What's up, people? This is the Honest Entrepreneur series. I'm Kamal, your host, but I'm not really hosting anyone. I'm just talking. I wanted to talk this week a little bit about what happened or how I felt when I lost the business. I'm going to talk about my last business because I was with it with two partners. We did debit cards for kids. So I don't know where you're tuning in from, but the big ones around the world are Greenlight in the US, Go Henry in the UK and Europe, who did very, very well. So kids in general, especially in this part of the world, very difficult for them to get bank accounts until they're 18. We managed to sort out an app with a debit card that the parents could, transfer pocket money to them. They could do chores on the app and they could be rewarded. They could, set up saving goals. It was brilliant. Honestly, it was brilliant. We raised about $1.8 to $2 million and we did it for 4 years. But then we had to shut it down. Why did we have to shut it down? Well, look, when you're doing a business, the most important part of the business is obviously the cost or the return on investment for VCs. So VCs were looking at it and saying, look, you've gone from 0 to 9,000 customers at the time, and it's cost you this amount of money. Now, all the banks are trying to get into this space, right? And Dubai is not huge. I mean, UAE is not huge. We're talking about 11 million people in total. About how many of those are kids? 20% maybe, who can afford that. To crack that market and to have the fight against the banks, you're going to need a lot of money. And in the end, ultimately, no one wanted to take that risk with us, and we had to close it down after 4 years. And it was heartbreaking. It was really, really heartbreaking because it was a great business, and I have young kids as well, and I was looking forward to being able to teach them about money on our app. And we had delusions of grandeur of being the number one kind of banking app in the region. But it all came to part, unfortunately. And it hurts. It hurts a lot, right? It hurts to lose people's money. It hurts to have your business go to zero. It hurts to start again. I'm not young. I'm 48 years old. To have to start from scratch again after another failure, it just keeps breaking you day by day. But I have to keep doing it, right? And I think if you listen to any entrepreneur, the thing is you have to just keep going. And they keep telling you it's not about the successes, it's about the failures you learn the most. Yeah, I mean, kind of agree with that. I mean, failures are tough to take, really tough to take. There's a lot that I learned from failing, but I don't think there was any one thing that really stands out to me and say, oh, you didn't know that, and all of a sudden, because you failed, you do know that. Maybe you learn about yourself, but nothing really changed in me either. I know lots of people say that, the failures, as I said, change you, but they don't. For me, it was a failure as a chapter and we closed it. And then I kind of put it aside and just moved on. Started another startup almost within 2-3 months because I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed building a company. Even though it failed, I enjoyed it. And I want to do it again because that's my passion. There's my passion in building companies. But, there are things that you can learn. I found out how difficult it is to close a company, that's for sure, especially a fintech company. And there's a lot to do with that. And I think one thing I might give advice to people if they're getting close to that is look at the process of actually closing it, right? Because especially with a fintech, you have to go through a hell of a lot, especially in this part of the world, hell of a lot in regulatory wise and whatnot to say, right, we're no longer in business, but we have customers' money. How do we pay back that customers' money? What happened to the money when it stays there? There's a lot going on. And that was one thing that I would definitely look at more closely, which I hope I never have to again when you're looking to exit a business, how it is. So yeah, it was tough. One thing about investors as well, I learned from the failure is that they really don't give two hoots about you. I don't think one single investor, complained, which was the good side of it. No one really said to us, oh, you lost our money, and to us or our partners, you lost our. But on the other side, not a single investor picked up the phone afterwards and said, hey, how you doing? I know you've got 3 young kids. Really sorry to hear that. Not one. And these are some investors that became actually good friends over time. We'd go out for dinner and always about business, but we would do all these things over 4 years. So we'd send them gifts for their kids and whatnot, but nothing. It's lonely. That's the hard part. It's lonely. No invest. And even when you call them afterwards, they rarely pick up their phone. That's why I haven't raised any money for Blinkr, because I tried initially. I tried to raise money from them, and I was chasing them, and they weren't really responding. And I don't blame them, but it's very lonely when you lose the money. VCs are not there to support you. No one is to support you. Your co-founders are about the only ones that stood by you and kind of get things through. So it's very, very tough in losing a business, but you have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to keep going. You have to find that energy again. You have to find that passion. You have to keep trying. You have to go, and I said this in a small motivational, you have to go knock on doors. You have to go, write those emails, write those WhatsApps, or more importantly, get your brain working. Get it functioning. Think of the next idea you want to do. I know it's harder. I know it is. Or you go back into the corporate life. But I've been out of corporate since 2012. That's what, 2000, whatever it is, for 14 years now. No one's going to hire me, so I have to keep thinking, keep generating ideas, keep going. Can't stop. I've got 3 kids. Can't think about the failures. Got to keep pushing through them day by day, right? Put out Blinkr. Will Blinkr succeed? I don't know. I'm trying everything I can, though. Trying everything I've learned over the years on how to build a business. But I'm still making mistakes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm still making mistakes. I haven't even monetized Blinkr yet. And that's a massive mistake. And I know that. I feel it. And I've got to do something about it. I just don't know how to do it or what to do. And I've got no one to talk to. I've got no money to pay an expert or anything. So I know the steps that I have to monetize it. I just don't know how quickly I need to monetize it because I'm scared to lose users when they're growing so quickly. So how do I do it and what do I do? But that's another conversation. So failure, as much as people say you learn a lot from, sure, you learn a lot about yourself. But if you're an entrepreneur, a real entrepreneur, it's just part of that journey. It's just part of that thing, and you just keep going. It's lonely. The VCs just kind of, anyone that invested money for you will disappear from that after that. But that's not the point. They knew they were going to lose money, so you're right there. And yeah, that's what I want to say about it. It hurts. It does for sure. But still smiling. I know there's a great guy on Instagram. He says, if you're not smiling, you're not doing it right. And that I agree with. Right, guys, I think this has been The Honest Entrepreneur. It's been a little bit boring this week because I'm so busy and I can't think of a subject that I really, or a person that I really want to talk about. Usually I do, I did Spanx and I did Palmer Lucky and I did the Airbnb guys. But this week has been about me and failure. So thank you for your time. Please, please, please click like, subscribe, share, whatever YouTube asks you to do to grow my channel. Maybe I can make some revenue from this eventually. Bye-bye, guys. Have a nice week. Thank you.